The fall is here, and it's time to start thinking about eating warm and cozy things that you roast in your oven to heat your house and fill it with great smells. Today we're going to do a simple roast chicken. Roast chicken is a great meal because you can have it several times. You can roast a chicken, have it for dinner. You can make sandwiches out of the white meat the next day. And when you're done with the chicken, you can make it into stock and make your own chicken soup, which on a winter cold day you'll really appreciate. Before you start any recipe, you want to make sure you have all your ingredients at hand. So for a simple roast chicken, my mise en place is obviously my chicken. I'm going to stuff the cavity with fresh herbs, some beautiful fresh lemons, some garlic, and some onions. And I'm going to use carrots as a base to hold my chicken off the pan. If you have a roasting pan with a rack, you can use the rack. But right now, I don't, so I'm going to use my carrots. I also have some melted butter and just a simple paintbrush from the hardware store that I'm going to use to brush the butter on the chicken. You can also use olive oil. We're going to stuff this chicken with some aromatics, such as fresh sage and fresh rosemary, and some lemons and some onions, which are going to roast right inside the cavity and are going to they'll give this chicken just great flavor. So I have a couple whole lemons that I'll slice up into kind of chunks, and I'm going to stuff them right in. And then I grabbed a handful of sage out of the garden. Sage is great because even in the middle of winter you'll still have sage in your garden. And even though it's a little frozen, you can bring it in and just use it for something just like this. I grabbed a sprig of rosemary from one of my plants on the porch. I'm going to shove that in there. And some onion. Beautiful thing about the roast chicken is you can really stuff it with whatever you have. Apple would be great, carrots, celery, any kind of aromatics. Now we're going to truss it, which is the technique where we tie the legs together and basically tighten up our chicken a little bit. The reason for trussing is it helps your chicken cook evenly. I'm going to take my twine down to the cutting board and back. And here you can either go over like this, or you could flip it over if it's easier for you. But you're going to just tie it right down here. 3, 1, 2, 3. Now you have this beautiful chicken. I'm going to tuck this in. That's a nice package. Just going to brush this with butter. You could use olive oil. I'm going to put the carrots and onions in the bottom of my pan. And they're going to help keep the chicken off the bottom of the pan and aid in circulation moving around the chicken. Setting this guy right on here. I have some extra sage that I had left over from stuffing. I'm just going to put that in there, and that'll just infuse the oven in the house. I've preheated my oven to 375 degrees. A chicken of this size, this is about a 5-pound bird, will take about 15 minutes per pound. 165 degrees. Perfect. Now we're going to take it out of the oven, but we're going to let it rest before carving it so that the juices can get pulled back into the bird. So we're not going to carve it right away. We'll just let it rest. We're going to put it on our serving platter. And the next step will be carving it. So our chicken is done, and it's warm, the skin is crispy, it looks beautiful. The question is, do I eat it now before the kids get home, or can I wait to serve it for dinner?